San Diego here. Wanted to invite you to go check out Poblis. Poblis is a dog clothing and accessory company based in Austria. 10% of each of your purchases goes to helping dogs in need, whether it's homeless, sick, or ill dogs. This is one of the reasons why we support it. Kiska here is a rescue dog from rural Alaska and our GRID office dog. We care about our furry buddies, and we know you do as well. Definitely check out poblis.com. There's a link on the video description, and by clicking on that link, you get a 10% discount on your purchase as well.
Happening now on Grid Tonight, NASCAR revealed the 2022 rules package for the next-gen car. Did the drivers and fans get what they wanted for Christmas? Nicholas Latifi, the Formula One driver from Williams, responded for the first time about being attacked on social media for his late race crash in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix that ended up deciding the 2021 Formula One World Championship. How do we all end this hateful rhetoric on social media? Kyle Busch's longtime sponsor is leaving NASCAR. Who's going to be next to support the number 18 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota Camry? Hello to all our viewers watching here in the United States and around the world. Welcome to Grid Tonight, your weekly motorsports news program. I'm Kobe Lambeth from the Podium Finish, and with me as always, Adam Lemerise. Please feel free to comment in the chat room below and ask any questions you may have and engage in a discussion. Let's kick off our final Grid Network show of 2021 with a huge reversal from NASCAR's top executives. And after last week's two-day test at Charlotte Motor Speedway, NASCAR decided on the first rules package for the new next-gen Cup car. For the last couple of years, NASCAR's been focused on improving the racing at intermediate tracks with a 550 horsepower high downforce package. While this package often produced entertaining restarts and some crazy late race finishes, the untracked product overall itself really frustrated drivers and fans alike. Deeper into a green flag run, the drivers got spread out on the track with the lower horsepower, high.
I'll continue. While this package often produced entertaining restarts and some crazy late race finishes, this on-track product itself frustrated drivers and fans alike. Deeper into a green flag run, the drivers got spread out on the track and lower horsepower, high downforce made passing very difficult. Drivers weren't pleased with this package, especially Kyle Busch, who at one point said, "Don't use the P word again." They didn't like pressing the pedals to the floor with a small amount of throttle time. Frustrating and not being able to showcase their true driving talent. Kobe?
Yeah, and thank you so much for that. Unfortunately, my internet died while I was going through all the information. But unfortunately, this stuff ends up happening. I'm really glad you kept on going at them. We'll continue on. And and yesterday, and when NASCAR announced they'll go with 670 horsepower with the 4-inch rear spoiler at all the non-super speedway tracks, they're really giving many people what they've been asking for the last couple of years: higher horsepower, low downforce, car harder to drive, putting more things in the driver's hands. And the photo you saw was taken by Jersey Tilton from Getty Images. So Adam, here's the first question: were you surprised that NASCAR made the sudden reversal to head in this direction? Did they make the right call?
I believe they did. This package to me is going to be really, really good next year. I'm looking forward to seeing how everything develops. And it's going to be, I think it'll be a lot more intense racing on track. We haven't, the only thing that we've seen is testing with these next gen cars. So The first time that we'll see him on track racing is at the Busch Light Clash Coliseum in February. But I like this package. I like it a lot. And it's going to be interesting to see what develops going into the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series season.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting to see how all of this unfolds. And I was talking about the fans and drivers wanting a greater challenge of the car being harder to drive. And before testing out the 2022 rules package, there were actually a lot of mixed emotions about the next gen car. Is it safe? Will it put on a good show? Will it be ready in time? Some of the most commonly asked questions. And after the rules package was announced, here's what some of the drivers had to say. Starting with Corey LaJoy said, to quote Brad Keselowski, if you're not going to have many passes for the lead, at least let's have some guys back it in the fence. And it just shows Corey LaJoy is really impressed with how the new car is more challenging than the Gen 6 car. Then Ryan Blaney says he's really excited for the news. It was great to work together with NASCAR, other drivers and teams to have the best product on the track that they can. And it's good for the drivers and good for the fans. And Chase Briscoe says looking forward to all that slipping and sliding on the 1.5-mile tracks to sign him up. And with the package we've been running the last couple of years, we haven't really seen much slipping and sliding because with the high downforce cars stuck to the track. But with this new package coming up, won't be the case. And co-owner of Live Fast Motorsports in the Cup Series, Matt Tiff, is very excited. He says, yes, this is awesome. It's going to put the racing back in the driver's hands. And that's exactly what a lot of drivers and fans and many members in the industry want to see at the end of the day. And then right here, Kurt Busch said that he's a racer and will race anything, anytime. This next gen car for NASCAR is incredible opportunities for the drivers to be drivers. Says the car is new school and old school at the same time, and he's ready to go with Toyota in 2311 racing. And then Ricky Stenhouse Jr. said, let's go. This package was really tough, but really fun to race with at the test session at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we know in any work environment, it's good for the employer, which is NASCAR in this case, to keep their employees, the drivers, happy. Several years ago, I remember Brad Keselowski's comments about the direction of the sport, telling us to appreciate NASCAR stock cars headed down into turn one at 200 miles per hour on 1.5-mile tracks, because it may be something we'll never see again. And thinking how shameful and disappointing it would be when the best drivers in NASCAR would no longer decide to race here. Instead, they'll choose to race super late model sprint cars, IndyCar, etc. And based on rave reviews from the industry about the current direction of the car, it seems like there's newfound optimism heading into the new year about the new NASCAR Cup Series next gen car. Photo you see on the screen taken by Jarrett C. Tilton from Getty Images. Adam, after seeing footage from the test at Charlotte Motor Speedway and the enthusiasm from the drivers, are you even more excited than you were before about the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series season?
Oh, yeah. I am looking forward to seeing this the next year. It's, for those of you who don't know, they've already started construction on the track at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum that's going to be used for the Clash of the Coliseum in February on Fox. So I'm looking forward to seeing, it's going to be exciting. You're talking about old school versus new school. Well, I grew up with old school, since I've been supporting NASCAR for a long, long time now. So I'm looking forward to seeing everything with these new next gen cars battling it out on track week after week all across the United States. And who knows what will happen. Could we see Kyle Larson go back to back? Could we see Chase Elliott win his second championship? Well, you'll just have to wait and see when the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series season gets officially underway at the beginning of February during the Daytona 500.
Yeah, I think a lot more people are really excited about the next gen car now than they were previously because we were seeing things in the media with drivers not really happy with what's going on. People worrying about what's going to happen next. Are they going to get this next gen car right because it's essential for the future of the sport that NASCAR hits the nail right on the coffin with this next gen car. And after we saw the previous test at Charlotte when they were doing the 550 horsepower, it seems like the drivers were really having an extremely difficult time making passes, which is something we saw with the next gen. I mean, with the Gen 6 car on the mile and a half patch with the 550 horsepower high downforce package. But now, since we're up in the horsepower, going to lower downforce, it really seems like the drivers are slipping and sliding. Watching some footage from the test at Charlotte last week, I saw a lot of slipping and sliding. Saw drivers get loose, be able to save it, or if you're Tyler Reddick, you spun out multiple times that I've completely lost count. Tyler Reddick was one of the drivers who had a tough time last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So definitely need to use the next couple of months to get his feet under the next gen car and be ready to go for the 2022 Daytona 500. But overall, I think this is a huge step in a positive direction for NASCAR, and it's going to be very exciting to watch the next gen car develop throughout the course of the season. And something else new for 2022, the revamped Atlanta Motor Speedway at an increased 28 degrees of banking becomes a super speedway race. Yes, I said that. Atlanta and super speedway in the same sentence. The rules package will be finalized for Atlanta, Daytona, and Talladega after 2 test sessions in January and super speedway configuration. And Adam, I know you're familiar with the history of Atlanta Motor Speedway from the days as the Cup Series season finale with that long front stretch to the tri-oval that we're used to today. Now a 28-degree high bank mile and a half oval, maybe a mini Daytona Talladega type of track. Did you ever expect or think that you'd see the day when Atlanta would be in the same conversation as Daytona and Talladega in a super speedway club?
Nope. No, I did never thought I'd see that. I can say personally, I've been to Atlanta Motor Speedway. I've been there, you know, when it was a tri-oval. I enjoyed being there. It was really good racing. It was incredible. It's one of the coolest tracks that I've been to in my NASCAR times. So to me, did I ever think I would see a restrictor plate being placed at Atlanta Motor Speedway compared to Daytona and Talladega? No, never thought it happened. But I guess we gotta go. You know, it's good for change, and we'll see what happens next year at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I know they just finished repaving that track, so looking forward to seeing all the testing that will be done and seeing what the rules package will be for Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta.
Yeah, and it's good they finished repaving Atlanta ahead of that crucial test next month at the tire test at the track, and they're gonna see which package they're gonna be able to use for that. It definitely won't be 670 horsepower. It will certainly be lower than that because Atlanta repave, higher banking. The speeds are gonna be extremely high, probably over 200 miles per hour if you use 670 horsepower, and it's really going to be interesting to see what they decide for Atlanta Motor Speedway. And I never thought in a million years we'd see Atlanta using the same sentence as Daytona and Talladega. And right now, since we haven't seen any actual action yet, we don't know what it's going to race like. We don't know if it's going to be like a Daytona and Talladega style track, where we're going to see pack racing at Atlanta. Are we going to see close drafting? Is it going to be more like Michigan, something like that? We don't know yet, and that's one of the things I like about this situation is heading into the unknowns, not knowing what to expect, and seeing an outcome sooner rather than later. So definitely, we're going to be paying attention to the test sessions happening at Atlanta Motor Speedway next month, and also at Daytona International Speedway as well. And what's looking like the return of NASCAR preseason thunder. Really excited for that. Hopefully, to have some live streaming from the World Center of Racing.
Yeah, I hope so too. I always like preseason thunder. maybe FS1 will be smart and televise it, for all us NASCAR fans. But anyway, today the NASCAR community has a heavy heart. Former ARCA Menard Series and NASCAR Camping World Truck Series driver Rob Kozlowski passed away after battling cancer. Bob, the father of Brad and Brian Kozlowski, won 24 ARCA races and captured the 1989 ARCA Championship. He was a pioneer in the Truck Series, and his only win came at Richmond International Raceway in 1997. Here are statements from his two sons. From Brad Kozlowski: my dad will always be my hero. He was quiet and understated, but that didn't change the impact he had on me or that I watched him have on everyone who knew him. I'm forever grateful for what I learned from this man, and I will remember him every day. And from Brian Kozlowski said, he was my best friend. I'm forever going to be lost. NASCAR also lost Steve Richards from the Performance Racing Network. Richards was a producer and pit road reporter for many years. He had COVID-19 and was in a hospital on a ventilator. And here's a statement from PRN. It says, Steve Richards, longtime friend and colleague of the PRN team, passed away last night. Steve had been a key part of so many broadcasts. He was loved and respected by the NASCAR community. He will be greatly missed. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and loved ones. It's not easy losing a loved one, especially during the holidays. Our thoughts go out to these two families. Please join us in a moment of silence as we honor Bob Kozlowski and Steve Richards.
Thank you, Adam. And for the first time since his late race altering crash in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Williams Formula One driver Nicholas Latifi has broken the silence. Still fresh in our memory, we remember Latifi crashing late in Abu Dhabi, which triggered the controversial finish to one of the greatest Formula One championship battles in history. In a statement, Latifi revealed that he's been staying away from social media to let all the craziness with Michael Masi, Lewis Hamilton, and Max Verstappen settle down. Lots of positive and supportive statements from the fans, but also a lot of hurtful, hateful comments as well. Latifi wondered if he should remain silent or speak up. He decided that he could not stay silent and had to say something about it. And it's sad to read that he knew that things were going to go downhill for him online as soon as he took the checker flag at the Yas Marina circuit. Latifi stayed away from Twitter and Instagram for a few days, referring to the online world as cruel. Latifi is absolutely right. It's almost like people forget that he's a human being with actual feelings, not just a Formula One driver. He thinks the online hate is just representative of the world we live in today. I agree with that, and it's truly sad. Being a professional athlete at the pinnacle of motorsport, Latifi understands and accepts that he's going to be under extreme scrutiny, say negative things about him, and that's really a guarantee no matter who you are. But what really shocked him, as he stated, the extreme tone of hate, abuse, and death threats. He really hit the nail on the coffin about one incident bringing out the worst of people. And at the end of the day, the Canadian Formula One driver understands he owes no one an apology for what happened in the closing stages of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, but his Williams Formula One team No, he doesn't have to apologize to you, the fans, or anyone else upset over the finish. Like he said, he simply didn't have any control over everything that happened after the fact with Michael Massey and company. Adam, what advice can you share with race fans watching right now all over the world if they are thinking about sending a hateful message to a motorsports figure out of rage?
Well, like my parents always taught me, if you don't have anything nice to say about somebody, someone, or something, don't say it at all. I'm sure I am so happy that Nicholas Latifi decided to do this. And you're right, Kobe. He didn't have to do this, but he wanted to. You know, don't think, and never think negatively. I know that's hard to do, but always try to stay positive with yourself. And always try to stay positive with your friends and families. I call if you were with us on our wrap up show following the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, we talked about all the protests happened with Mercedes and they got denied. But I'll say it once, I'll say it again. If you don't have anything nice to say about somebody, someone, something, don't say it at all. Keep your comments to yourself. Leave those people alone. Always think positively, not negatively.
Well said, Adam. That's some great advice right there. And something I've always thought is when you feel like you're going to rage tweet on Twitter to someone about something, the best thing you can do is to put yourself on the opposite side. So like if you're gonna send something mean to Nicholas Latifi, you pretend that that you're sending that to yourself and that you're Nicholas Latifi, and if you would be upset by someone saying that to you, then it's better that you quickly delete that well not just delete, not even send it to begin with. And I understand when something's happening right in the heat of the moment, it can be really tough, and when emotions are flying, you often say a lot of stuff that you don't mean at all. And all of these people who sent Nicholas Latifi these hateful messages, I guarantee you, I'd be willing to bet $1 million on it that they would not say that to his face at all. They would not walk up and say that to him in person. They can just hide behind the screen and say whatever they want. And I do believe that a lot of people, when if you feel like you're going to rage tweet, say a bunch of mean things in the heat of a moment, best thing to do is just put down the phone, turn it off, take go outside, get some fresh air for about 10 to 15 minutes, and come back in, because what you're actually doing is damaging someone's mental health when you're saying all of those mean things. And going back to Michael Massey, if like Adam was said, talking about our wrap up show where we were on almost 3 hours, we were very critical of Michael Massey, but I feel like that and yes, nobody is above criticism, no matter where you are. And all of us here at GRIDnet, we're not above criticism either. We're not doing something right, you guys should call us out and tell us about it, because that's just the way the world is. And we were talking about Michael Massey. We called him out for what we saw, the incompetence in race control, and felt like that he played a significant role in altering the outcome of the championship. But while we were very critical and harsh on him, we never resorted to the online abuse that Nicholas Latifi received, and that's absolutely uncalled for. And I feel like you can definitely get your point across without being nasty about it. And I hope one day we can get back to a world where we can get our point across and not have to make someone feel as low as Nicholas Latifi felt on that day. And as you saw at the end of the first page on Latifi's statement, he called the people who said they were he really called out the people who said he was racing for a position that didn't even matter. He says it doesn't matter if he was competing for a win, a podium, a points finish, or last place on the grid. He's still going to give it his all because he's a racing driver. Latifi feels comfortable in his own thick skin to handle negativity coming his way, and And whenever you're going to be in the spotlight like this, having a thick skin is really important, whether you're a driver, member of the team, a journalist, public relations manager, any position. And the sad part is when Latifi says he knows he's not alone when there's one negative comment that sticks out more than others. And as I was saying, this stuff can really impact your mental health. And one hateful message, just one, can drain out many supportive messages from all the fans. But one statement towards the end really stood out to me the most, more than others, throughout his entire statement. Sport is, by its very nature, competitive, but it should bring people together, not drive them apart. Adam, how powerful is that perspective of sports intended to unite people instead of dividing?
Oh, it helped. If we think back to the events at 9/11, the first real sporting event happened was a Major League Baseball game at Shea Stadium in New York City, and featured the New York Mets. Sports can unite people a lot. It could bring together new friendships. It can bring together a lot of really cool opportunities. You can bring, you know, thanks to sports, you may call if you're a sports fan and you follow a certain driver or a football player, you know, you may get a chance to meet that person one day and say, "Hey, I've been following you since so and so, and it's kind of cool. I can meet you and talk with you." Sports can sports can bring friendships, bring new friendships together. I can say, for me being in motorsports, watching motorsports for a long time, it brought me here to Grid Network, and I got a chance to meet people like Joe and Kobe and Ben and Josh and Daniel and Matt White. We all we all share a common thing. We love our motorsports and we love talking about it. So sports can bring new friendships together at any given time.
And there was definitely, once again, Adam, well said. And I feel like in times like we're living in now, people have often said this is like living through a war, especially when you're looking at the coronavirus pandemic going on right now. And I feel like now is when we need sports more than ever. And when we had the shutdown in March 2020 and lost all of our favorite sports, it was a really difficult time mentally for myself. I'm sure for you as well, and for many people all over the world, because sports is really the only time where we can get away from all of the troubles going on in the world. Although today you can't really get away from COVID and sports, and so many people are testing positive all across sports league globally. But still, outside of that, you can still follow all the storylines and see all of the wonderful things that are happening in the world of sports. And football every Sunday afternoon when we don't have racing coverage going on. I'm always in the living room with my family watching NFL football, the Carolina Panthers. We watch from the early game at 1 o'clock. We watch the 4:30 game and also Sunday night football, and we watch Monday night football, Thursday night football too. We watch all of it together because it brings us together and unite us. Everyone who lives in my house, we're all different in many ways, but we all love football. That brings us together, unites people. Also, you can talk about the game on Twitter, Facebook, whatever platform you want with your friends on social media as well, and you can feel this strong sense of community. But when you're doing what happened to Nicholas Latifi, sending all those hateful messages that that really make him feel bad, well, worse about what's going on with him. We already knew he was going to feel bad about that late race crash that ended up setting up the controversial finish to the Formula One World Championship. But I'm sure it made him feel even worse to receive all of the hate he received online. And I think we need to do a much better job looking in the mirror, hold people around us accountable who are out of line to make sure they're not continuing to divide us apart, because as a society, we're already divided enough, and we don't need to add to that division. We need to we really all need to just step up and try to be a better person than we were yesterday. And I have to commend Nicholas Latifi for speaking out, because I feel like that statement he posted is going to get a lot more people talking, not just me and you, Adam. I hope other people will have a discussion with their friends as well about this. Unity is always the answer, not division.
Yeah, and one thing I'll add: think before you tweet. One thing uh, you know, called if you were one of those people that send a hateful message to Nicholas Latifi, how would you react if you said that to him in person? I think be careful what you say around people, especially behind your back, because it could come back to bite you in a big, big way. And now, moving on to some supercars news. Kobe and I, well, we sort of predicted this on our Bathurst 1000 post-race show, if you watched that. So it was kind of cool that this story happened. So, after winning the 2021 Bathurst 1000 with Walkinshaw and Andretti United and co-driver Chaz Mostert, Lee Holdsworth had some good news to share with everyone. Holdsworth signed a 1-year contract with Grove Racing, returning him to the Ripco Supercars grid on a full-time basis. Initially, Grove Racing wanted to get rising young star Matthew Payne into Supercars full-time next year in that seat. They requested permission to make Payne eligible to compete in Supercars in 2022. Fortunately, it got denied. So Payne had to settle for a Super 2 schedule. So he's likely to go full-time in Supercars a year later in 2023. For Lee Holdsworth, or as Chaz Mostert calls him, Lethal, it's important that he performs well for Grove Racing to put himself in a position to find a new ride after 2022. Racing on a 1-year deal with Matthew Payne, almost certainly taking his seat in the following year. This situation is similar to what we see in NASCAR with Matt DiBenedetto at Wood Brothers Racing. You have a year ahead. You're a year ahead of time that you're losing your seat to a younger driver. So you have to perform and put yourself in a position to find a new job.
Earlier this week, it was announced that M&M's will leave NASCAR, Joe Gibbs Racing, and Kyle Busch at the end of the 2022 season. Photo you see on the screen taken by Jared C. Chilton from Getty Images. M&M's joined Joe Gibbs Racing during Kyle Busch's first year with the team in 2008. And right here in a statement on Twitter, Kyle Busch said, "My appreciation for the entire Mars family is eternal. With 55 wins and 2 Cup titles together, we've built friendships that will last way past 2022. The Mars family has always accepted me for who I am, and I'll always be thankful for that. Here's to many more trips to Victory Lane in 2022." And prior to this highly successful partnership, Eminem's presence in NASCAR dates back well before they teamed up with Kyle Busch and JGR. Adam, you're a supercars expert, and sometimes I feel like our motorsports historian too. For the fans that are wondering about the history of Eminem's sponsorship in NASCAR, what insight can you provide?
Well, Eminem started out with Ernie Irvin at Robert Yates Racing. And then in 2000, it went to the Eminem sponsorship went to Ken Schrader on a 3-year deal. After that, it after that it went to Elliott Sadler at Robert drive the number 38 drive the number 38 Ford. And if you remember, Elliott Sadler took 2 wild, crazy tumbles at Talladega in consecutive years. I was shocked by this news myself because M&M's, like you said, Kobe, has had a long partnership with NASCAR and Kyle Busch. I don't know. I mean, Kyle, it's going to be interesting to see who sponsors Kyle Busch in number 18 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing moving forward. I know Kyle Busch probably has already been talking to people about about finding a new sponsorship for that car. So he does have, I believe, an energy drink called Rowdy that potentially could sponsor that car. So we'll see what develops going forward.
Yeah, maybe we could see Rowdy Energy on the car. That would be really cool. Really see Kyle Busch investing in other racing series, sponsoring other drivers with the Rowdy Energy brand. But Kyle Busch and M&M's, I've really got used to that because I watch. I've been watching NASCAR since 2007, and 2008 was the year Kyle Busch and M&M's got together. And when I think about if you like say M&M's, I'll immediately think about Kyle Busch, and when you think about Kyle Busch, I'll immediately think about M&M's. So it's gonna be really weird seeing M&M's leave the sport, and Kyle Busch will no longer be the candy man of NASCAR that people like to call Rowdy the candy man as well. And it just really shocked me to see that M&M's is leaving the sport. But when Adam Stern from Sports Business Journal pointed out that since the last time they renewed their contract, there's been some changes up at Mars Incorporated and with the executives. So that would make a lot of sense why there's a lot of change going on here. And Bob Pockers from Fox Sports provided some additional insight on this story. Parker said Kyle Busch's current contract runs through the 2023 season. Important note here. Apparently, the team was notified during the summer about M&M's departure, so they gave Joe Gibbs Racing a head start finding a new sponsor. Parker's also said this would be a good opportunity for Kyle to find a sponsor willing to join a potential Indy 500 effort. Is it realistic to expect a potential Kyle Busch Indy 500 run in the future?
Hey, if people like Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, even Kyle's brother Kurt Busch racing the Indy 500, this day in motorsports, anything can happen. So if we were to see Kyle Busch compete in the Indy 500, hey, I think it'd be kind of cool. I mean, you don't see many brothers compete in the Indy 500 that often, even though we've seen the Unser family compete in the Indy 500 for many, many years. But Kyle Busch wants to give a shot at competing in the greatest spectacle of motorsports at the Indy 500. I say go for it. Why not? There's a lot of really good IndyCar talent out there. So we'll see what happens if this develops in the future.
Yes, it will definitely be a huge day of motorsports if Kyle Busch decided to run the greatest spectacle in racing one day. I remember how big it was when Kurt Busch did the double, and Kurt did an amazing job. I was surprised he ran as well as he did at Indy, and Kurt was literally right there at the end, fighting for a spot in the top five, which is incredible for someone with extremely low experience in those type of cars. And if Kyle Busch hops in the Indy car, gets to do some testing, it gets in a good quality ride, I think Kyle Busch can definitely make some noise and potentially run as well as his brother Kurt did at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I know a lot of people been speculating wanting to see Kyle Larson run in the Indy 500. Think that's what a lot of people want. But hey, what about Kyle Busch too? And knowing how much Kyle Busch likes to win, I think he would really work super hard as his brother Kurt did when he ran the double, to make sure that he can go to the speedway and put on a great show for the fans. And and hopefully add this crown jewel race to his resume. And looking at a different subject now, when NASCAR decided to move the number placement forward, they made this decision after a study showed that making this move would increase sponsorship value, potentially making it more likely for new sponsors to join NASCAR. So you need to make sure you get used to the side of the number moving forward. It's here to stay, whether you like it or not. Take a look here at Kyle's brother Kurt Busch's number 45 Monster Energy Toyota Camry, taken last week in testing at Charlotte Motor Speedway by Jarrett C. Tilton. Adam, will the new number placement make Kyle Busch's sponsorship search easier given the data NASCAR saw in the study, or is it really just too soon to tell?
I think it's too soon to tell. But I gotta say, I like the new number placement myself. I think it's really cool where it is. It's it'll be hit and miss with fans, now, but going forward, we'll see what happens. But I gotta say, I like Kurt Busch's ride that we saw in testing. To me, was one of the coolest. There we go, Kobe. I love it. I think it's it's a new direction for NASCAR, and hey, I can't wait to see it. At the Busch Lake Clash at the Coliseum, the beginning of February. Won't be long now until those next gen cars hit the track in LA.
Yeah, you're right. Won't be long now. No, we were talking before the show. How surprising is this? Our last show of 2021. How has almost Christmas, almost the end of 2021, be heading into 2022. Really crazy how fast it's flying. And by the time you wake up tomorrow, it's gonna be time for the Busch Light Clash at the LA Coliseum. That's just how fast time is moving nowadays, it seems. Next, some news from the busy world of sports car racing. Penske Porsche Motorsport announced the signing of their first two LMDH drivers. IMSA DPI champions Dane Cameron and Felipe Nasr become Porsche factory drivers. Dane Cameron returning to Team Penske. He raced with Acura Team Penske and IMSA, and he spent the 2021 season racing with Meyer Shank Racing's Acura DPI program. And while waiting for the Porsche LMDH program in 2023, Felipe Nasr will compete in the IMSA Michelin Endurance Cup races for FAF Motorsports in the GTD Pro class at Daytona, Sebring, Watkins Glen, and Road Atlanta. He'll be sharing the popular number 9 plaid-colored Porsche with fellow factory drivers Matt Campbell and Matthew Jomine. A real change of pace for a driver who's used to going for the overall win and racing prototypes full-time. Images coming from Porsche Motorsport. Over on the FIA World Endurance Championship side of things, the number 91 Porsche's GT Pro lineup will remain unchanged, with Jimmy Bruni and Richard Leaks returning. Fred McElwicky joining for the 24 Hours of Le Mans. However, there's going to be a change with the number 92 Porsche. Michael Christensen replaces Neil Yanni in the full-time lineup alongside Kevin Estra. Lawrence Van Thor joining that car for Le Mans. Yanni is expected to continue at Porsche as one of their reserve drivers in Formula E. Also, Turner Motorsport confirmed their driver lineup for next month's Rolex 24 at Daytona, debuting the new BMW M4 GT3. Bill Oberlin, Robbie Foley, returning for another full season of IMSA racing, and joining them for Daytona, BMW factory driver Jens Klingman and GT World Challenge America competitor Michael Dinan. TR3 Racing will enter a Lamborghini Huracan in the Rolex 24, competing in the GTD Pro class with factory drivers. In the number 63 Lamborghini, you see in the graphic right here from the team, Andrea Caldarelli, Marco Bortolotti, Marco Mappelli, and Rolf Inakin complete the lineup. 3 NTT IndyCar Series drivers are teaming up with Dragon Speed to compete in the Rolex 24, sharing the number 81 LMP2 car Orica, image provided by the team. These 3 drivers representing North America: Colton Herta from the United States, Pato Award from Mexico, and Devlin DiFrancesco from Canada. LMP2 veteran Eric Lux completes the driver lineup. Vassar Sullivan Racing previously announced their GTD Pro lineup with Jack Hawksworth and Ben Barnicoat running full-time with IndyCar rookie from AJ Foyt Racing. Kyle Kirkwood joining that car for the Enduros. And next, they've unveiled their Pro-Am GTD lineup. In the number 12 GTD Lexus, Frankie Montecalvo and Aaron Talitz back for another full season. Richard Highstand joining for the endurance racing. There's no word on former IndyCar racer Zach Veach, who drove for the team this year. And there's the graphic you see on the screen of Montecalvo, Talitz, and Highstand, courtesy of Vassar Sullivan. Finally, we'll see two Heart of Racing Aston Martins in the IMSA GTD Pro and GTD classes. In the number 23 Aston Martin GTD Pro car, we'll see factory driver Ross Gunn, co-driver Alex Riberos. Maxine Martin will join them for the endurance races. Roman DeAngelis, who drove at Ross Gunn this year, will stay in GTD though. Splitting them up, he'll drive the number 27 Aston Martin, and Maxine Martin is going to race with him at all the sprint races. For Daytona, DeAngelis will have Ian James, Tom Gamble, and longtime Aston Martin factory driver Darren Turner completing their Rolex 24 lineup. That's it for our weekly sports car news wrap up.
Thanks, Kobe. With Christmas only being a few days away, we wanted to share a motorsports story with you that reveals the true meaning of Christmas. Earlier this month, you might have seen the news about the violent, long-winded EF4 tornado with speeds over 190 miles an hour that destroyed parts of western Kentucky. Mayfield, Kentucky was one of the hardest hit areas. Neighborhoods and businesses destroyed, many casualties, and many people losing everything that they had. Happening right before Christmas made the situation much more tragic. Rick Ware Racing traveled to Mayfield, Kentucky with 3,053 Christmas toys for children who survived the tornado and lost everything. What a kind gesture by Rick Ware. Some kids probably thought that they would not have a Christmas at all. Now they get something after all. And to those who lost loved ones, our hearts go out to you during this difficult time. We know it's not easy during the holidays. If you want to donate to tornado victims in western Kentucky, please visit the American Red Cross link in the video description below. Kobe, the last episode of Grid Tonight in the books. Take it away.
Yeah, our final episode of Grid Tonight of 2021 in the book. And please be sure to like and subscribe to Grid Network here on YouTube. And at the time of this video's airing, we're sitting at 297 subscribers. We'd really love to get to 300 by the end of the current year. Also, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We encourage you to visit our Patreon page and invest in Grid Network. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts, Colin, Mark, DeShell, and Robin, for everything you've done to support the Grid Network financially throughout this entire year. We greatly appreciate you. Are grateful Patreon supporters, and hopefully we'll have more Patreon supporters in 2022. Be sure to check out Paw Bless. Please consider spoiling your furry friend. They have dog leashes, clothing, and accessories for dogs of all sizes. 10% of your purchase go towards helping homeless, sick, and rescued dogs. Visit public.com, the stock market social media home. The link below and referral code gives you $5 to invest immediately. Public.com allows you to connect with your friends. You can make new friends and use tools to learn how to properly invest in the stock market. Do you want to buy me a coffee? Click the link in the video description below and you can buy a drink for your favorite on-air talent here at Grid Network. Any amount will help us continue growing our motorsports media outlet. And we definitely want to give a special thank you to all of our viewers as well for supporting us throughout the 2021 racing season, as we've been saying throughout our final show of the year tonight. But don't worry, Grid Tonight will return in the new year on January 5th, 2022 to kick off year 3 of our motorsports coverage. We want to wish you, everyone watching around the world, happy holidays, whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or another holiday that I'm totally unaware of right now. For Adam Lemerise, I'm Kobe Lambeth from the Podium Finish. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in 2022. Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year!
Don't be an anonymous investor. Join the stock market social media platform public.com. Invest any amount of money and share with friends and new friends. Discover new opportunities, such as new companies and potential business partners, and useful tools for beginners, and share your experience with friends on public.com. Link in the video description gets you $5 for being a Grid Network viewer. Use the referral code GRIDnet for your free $5 to invest and start investing and networking on public.com.